We're just trying to change the world here, people.
Oh, really?
The Facebooking and the tweeting and the Instagramming, all that would not exist without our understanding of science.
So it's amazing how you do that as an insult. You mean true for you is different from true for anybody else?
Yeah, absolutely, because I can't
think either got to be true or not.
I can't, no.
Well, how about that? Happy anniversary, everyone! Welcome to ORly Radio Show 100. My gosh, 100 shows! Anyway, it's Friday, March 4th, 2016. Wait, is it March 4th? It's not March 4th.
It's March 11th.
March 11th.
There, notes updated. Friday, March 11th, 2016, where we dismantle the current events for your edutainment through mostly rational conversations that make you go, oh, really? I'm your host, Andy Cowen, with my usual suspects, Michael Robinson, Stephen Griffith, Ren Cowen, and Fred Sims. Welcome, one and all. We have we've gone through many things here to try and work things out. I think we've got it. I think, maybe. We'll see how it goes. And you know what? Actually, now I see what you're talking about with the owl. Now I see, and I'll see if I can get rid of that for you as I go through things. So, Fred, how about you? You take us through on this day in history.
Absolutely. On this day in history, several things happened. Wait, was I supposed to do more? No, really. Congress established the Army Corps of Engineers in 1779. It was originally started as a civilian group, and they started with a lot of armament for the armies, just kind of building up and further protecting. And they were also in charge of developing further west as we conquered those people and opened up our lands. So not necessarily the best start, but they've done a lot since then, and they're responsible for roads and bridges and highways and fun stuff like that now.
Oh, you mean all those darn socialist projects?
All those damn commie projects.
Oh, whoa. I just tried to talk about good old America. And
Isn't that where you're supposed to go?
Usually. Also, on this day in history, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley was published in 1818.
That's a really hard book to read.
The Confederate Constitution was adopted in 1861.
Another hard document to read.
Yeah.
It was apparently a hard document to write since they basically stole from the Constitution. They didn't even really put much thought into it.
They didn't really make their own thing at all.
No, not at all.
Just carbon copy.
In 1941, FDR signed the Lend-Lease program, which was essentially the United States' first real backing of Britain in their war with Germany. And it ended up becoming the United States policy later on to help other nations revitalize after wars, whether they had been foe or not. So, I mean, it led to something great, and it started as something great. And in 1989, Cops debuted on Fox.
Bad boys, bad boys.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Well, that one's my bet in my head. I was wondering who's going to do it first.
Well, we both did it, so I don't know. Is that anybody? I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty, and let's see. President Obama down to 3 finalists for the Supreme Court vacancy. Who we got in that lineup? We've got
That lineup is currently Merrick Garland, Chief Judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit.
Oh yeah. That's always been the junior league. More just Supreme Court justices have come from there than anywhere else.
We have Paul Watford, a judge on the California-based U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit.
I don't know anything about him.
And then,
except he's rather young, only 48. Garland's 63.
And then the other one is 49-year-old Sri Srinivasan.
Oh yeah, he's the crowd favorite.
Yes, a judge on the same court as Merrick Garland, so the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit, and he was actually certified when he was appointed 97-0 by the Senate.
Damn.
So that's why he's the favorite, because it's kind of hard to go back and be like, yeah, we don't like him when you already confirmed him 97-0.
Yeah, you've already confirmed him once. So what's wrong with him now? Oh, it's because Obama wants him. That's
Exactly.
why. You bastards.
Well, looking at what he's done professionally, I like the fact that he did pro bono work for Al Gore during the aftermath of the 2000 election.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I have no
Look
idea.
this up, of course, on Wikipedia for all the people who want to see this.
Yay, Wikipedia! We love Wikipedia.
He was also part of the legal team that presented arguments before the Supreme Court against the Defense of Marriage Act in the case of U.S. versus Windsor in 2013.
Oh, well, that was groundbreaking, of course.
Okay, so I suddenly have a new favorite for being Supreme Court Justice, if it's not Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
Which she needs to stay where she is, I think.
Yeah, she's really enormously useful where she is.
She would, but going from Senate to Supreme Court goes from 1 out of 100 to 1 out of 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's not in the picks.
No.
So.
But, you know, if we had our dream team, you know, it's kind of like fantasy football, you know.
But with the government?
Yeah.
That's so less exciting.
If we could do that, oh, man.
Wow.
We need to work on that. We need to work on that. Well, we've already got the contender cards.
Great. Political fantasy football.
Yes.
We so less boring.
Yes. It'd be pretty good.
Oh.
Yeah, well, yeah, I said that wrong. It'd be terrible.
It would be really excruciatingly boring.
Well, the problem is the returns take so long. I mean, with fantasy football, you got weekly returns. With fantasy politics, I mean, months and months of trying to figure out whether or not you're going to get your points.
Yeah. And I guess the points would just be delegates.
I'm worth playing the long game.
Yeah, well, we already are playing the long game.
But if they're super delegates, that's a little different, and then you have to wait.
Yeah, but they're so fickle. So, we did skip out just a little bit there. So, hey, I did not see any new reviews out on iTunes or Stitcher or Spreaker or any of the other usual haunts where we have the show aggregated. But if you do have a new review that you've dropped us, hey, you know, shoot us an email. Let me know. And also, while you're doing that, if you catch any mistakes, because we are completely fallible human beings here, so if you find any mistakes, go ahead and email them in to us at orlyradiopodcast@gmail.com. Or also, hey, we still have that voice line out, 470-222-6759, and you can leave us a text message there too, and I can read it on the air or not. You know, I don't have to show it on the air. I can just talk about it if you're completely embarrassed about how your voice sounds on recordings and things like that.
And for those of you on the fence, I've been trying to convince you with a poster. I only have one left. There are other people that have jumped in front of you in line.
Is there one left? I thought we were
they were
out.
gone,
No,
yeah.
we've got
Awesome.
one left. We do
One
have
left.
one more. That's it. So send us,
Audience participation.
Yes.
steal that last one.
We
Make
love
everyone sad.
We love it. We love it. Chevy Buck out in the chat room says, with all the F-ups in their daily lives outside of politics, there would be far more activity there than in fantasy football.
True story.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Football players are pretty crazy, though.
they are.
Yeah,
Pretty
but
crazy.
you know, they have the usual haunts like beating up your woman or dog fighting.
You know, just
Instead of
the
gay.
usual stuff.
Well, occasionally gay.
Politics kind of does that more.
Yes, there does seem to be a bit of a trend there. If the people that are so anti homosexuals, and oh look, what were you doing in that parking lot that time?
I was parking my car.
Oh, with that man, with your pants around your ankles. Gotcha.
That's how I park a car.
Oh,
Don't
that's-
judge me.
Is that what you were calling it now? The car. You're parking the car?
A docking maneuver.
It's an economy.
Docking maneuver. Oh, I'm pretty sure that's been used before.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, let's see here. Let's hear from our friends over at the Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia Project.
Are you annoyed by misinformation spreading like crazy, and you want to stop the flood of nonsense coming from all directions? Go to Wikipedia, as do all those millions out there. Did you know there's an edit button on all Wikipedia articles? why don't you go and hit that button to start making the world's largest online encyclopedia a more reliable source of information? If you're specifically interested in skeptical topics, come and join us at Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia, an international endeavor to change the world for the better, word by word. There are many ways you can contribute. You just need to start. You speak several languages, all the more reason to join us. We provide training and all the help you need. If you want to make a change, there's a nice community waiting for you out there. Contact us at gsowteam@gmail.com, visit our website, that's guerrillaskeptics.com, or check out the Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia Facebook page.
Alrighty, and it's time for the segment that has no introduction, Science, bitches.
Yeah.
And
That's
Mike,
my
you're
segment.
here today to actually take us through the science.
To actually take us through the science,
I
yes.
think you need to educate us. Take us to school.
Alrighty, well, let's start with one that I found today that fascinated me. You know how we've got a trash problem?
Oh yes.
We human beings, we make a lot of trash. We got a problem. And the biggest problem is plastic, because there's nothing we can do with it. It just takes up space for years. Well, that's about to change, because a bacterium has been discovered that breaks down the most common form of plastic used in packaging to water and carbon dioxide.
That's all.
That's it. Those are the byproducts of its metabolism. Water and CO2.
So we now have a bacteria that will eat plastic, and we have mealworms or something that will eat styrofoam.
Uh-huh.
I'm liking this. This is excellent.
It is excellent. I mean, there is the downside of it being carbon positive, because we're adding CO2 to the atmosphere. But at the same time, we're also recycling material back into the environment as opposed to having it just sit in a landfill. So there's good and the bad, because we need all the water we can get.
Yeah. Huh.
This is one of those things that goes along the lines of the Earth takes care of itself in the long run. And
well, I mean, we mentioned this when the Fukushima disaster happened. We talked about Chernobyl and how they found a species of fungus, I believe it is, on the inside of the reactor dome that is not just surviving, it is thriving. And that fungus is actually lowering radioactivity in the area because it's eating the radioactive isotopes.
Not to mention most of the life forms have adapted to the...
Yeah. Nature finds a way.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was a couple Japanese scientists, if I recall properly, that were working on that one.
I believe so, yes.
Probably who knows what they were actually working on when they suddenly...
When they just discovered this, because,
Hey,
I mean...
Wasn't there more plastic over there?
Wait, it's not there anymore. What happened here? Oh, look at this bacterium.
What happened to my lovely soda bottle?
Kind of like how we discovered penicillin on accident.
Exactly.
Is that just condensation? Oh no, my water bottle's actually breaking down.
Ba-dum-bum.
Wow. I don't think that'd be something that I'd ever want to actually say.
Yeah, no, it does not happen at that rate, and they do require a specific environment to be happy. But fortunately, that environment can be found in landfills.
Well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That happens to be where we keep all of the trash. So that works.
It's all fine. It all works out.
that would be an amazing invention, though. Like, if you had a time release, like, as soon as you pop the top on your water bottle, you've got this long to drink it before it's gone.
And it starts breaking down. Yeah. The very next one is just cool stuff in chemistry. We've all seen, I'm certain, pardon me, we've all seen hydrophobic substances, where you pour the water on it and the water runs away.
Yeah.
You know, whereas they've got in a spray form that you can put on your pants now so that spills don't leave stains and stuff like that. Well, that works real well for water, but not so much for the formation of ice crystals because of the chemistry of crystals and how they work. Except that that's changing. They've created a new substance which because of the way it works on, down on the molecular level, how the surface is arranged, the little tiny droplets that start ice crystals can't find purchase. So it takes forever to ice up, and even if it does ice up, it's super easy to just chip the ice off, which, it started out as, from what I understand from the article, it started out as wanting to make a better ice machine for freezers.
Okay.
And
so one where the ice physically adhered to it
yeah.
and went where they wanted it to go.
Yeah, so you don't have to periodically thaw out your ice machine because the ice machine has frozen up, ironically. But it also has great applications for aeronautics, particularly because icing is a problem at high altitudes, especially as we move into the era of, okay, we want planes that fly higher and higher and go back into the jet stream like we used to do, so that transatlantic crossings take like an hour, So there's a lot of applications for this, and it's a really cool advancement in science.
Right on. Well, that's cool. Now, so do you think, speaking of the airliners, and shedding the water or ice at high altitudes, a lot of people are unaware of super pure water, which exists up at those levels.
Super pure.
Can go below the freezing point and still remain a liquid until it has a point of nucleation, where then as soon as it hits it, it immediately turns to ice.
Yeah.
So we've had some planes that have had a little issue with that when, that super pure water would hit some sensors and just immediately ice over everything.
Yeah.
So this would be one of those things that it's like, oh, it iced over, it's gone.
It's not an issue. That is the greatest thing about this substance is even when ice does build up, because there's no such thing as a perfect surface. The idea of a frictionless vacuum is great in engineering class, but it doesn't ever happen in the real world. But all you need is just a little tap, and the ice sheet falls right off because it barely has any purchase at all.
Yeah, and things like car windshields, which is very, very popular in the chat room.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. Your car is moving around. It's automatically going to have some vibration, which would just shed it right off.
Yeah, if I read the article correctly, now I don't. I skimmed over the article. I got the high points, I think, but I haven't read super in depth about this one. I don't know if it works on glass, because glass by nature has to be a very smooth surface already to be transparent. And this surface has a surface texture. It just has a very particular surface texture that, down at the microscopic scale. So I don't know if you can make glass that does this and it's still see-through. I don't know. I don't know enough about the chemistry.
I imagine you could, especially given how much, I love Rain-X. Rain-X
is great.
The best thing ever. So this would just be super Rain-X.
Well, Rain-X. Well, see, this is different from Rain-X in that Rain-X is a chemical which actively does not bond with water. This is a surface essentially that crystals don't have a place to. They don't have a nucleation surface. There's nowhere for them to start forming, which doesn't necessarily mean the surface itself is hydrophobic. It just doesn't allow ice to form.
Now,
I imagine they're going to combine the two and it'll be fucking perfect, but...
Now, of course, this also could be used in things like Mars rovers.
Oh, yeah.
Things that we send to other planets.
Because space is cold, guys.
Oh, wait, even better. On photovoltaic sheets to prevent them from getting caked so that they can continue to generate electricity.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we need.
There's a whole lot of potential applications for this, and I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Material science, woohoo!
Yes. All right, materials are fun. Let's see. Another thing that came out in the headlines. I'm pretty sure I listed this earlier on one of the weeks I couldn't be here, but it's more news is out about it now. There's been a recent breakthrough in cancer treatment, which they ran a trial and it killed a tumor in 11 days, which is impossibly fast. That is
breast cancer.
Breast cancer.
Specifically, they're testing a breast cancer tumor.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Now, is that all sorts of breast cancer, or just a certain kind of?
Some types.
Some types.
Yeah, and they are. It is a drug that is a supplementary drug to standard chemotherapy. But it's not chemo, so it's not poison. It's more. It's less aggressive medicine that works by targeting a specific protein that tumors need to build themselves and stuff like that. And it is it turns out it's super effective.
Excellent.
That is
so. And it works specifically on these types of breast cancer tumors because of the type of cell that's involved. But if this process exists for some tumors, then we can probably find a protein to target on other kinds of tumors to get similar results. And then the big boogeyman of modern medicine is defeated. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Well, at least this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat room, Deadpool. I hope Deadpool is asking sarcoma or mast cell. Do you know?
Let me check the article and see if it specifies.
While you're looking at that, I had one to just toss in here that I combed over. Biologists at the University of South Carolina, they discovered a bacteria that survives on nothing but electricity.
Wow.
Yeah, rather than food. So they also have this curious ability to form into biocables, microbial nanowires that are centimeters long and conduct electricity as well as copper wires, a capability that might one day be tapped to build long self-assembling surface networks. What? I'm allowed to laugh maniacally? This is my show.
You have permission.
I gave myself permission. Gosh darn it. Yeah. But it's interesting. I mean, this is the kind of thing out of comic books, where something survives on pure electrons.
That's pretty crazy.
So the real world is far stranger than fiction.
Usually.
Yeah. What'd you find, Mike?
It does not specify one of the types that was asked about, but it specifically targets any cancer cell that makes use of the production of the HER2 protein, which is a human epidermal growth factor. So it's mimicking a skin cell, going crazy, because it's using epidermal growth factor. So
then there's also potential for it to work on skin cancer.
Yeah, on melanomas. Yeah.
Melanomas, basal cell carcinomas, and all that. Excellent.
Yeah, it's not about the tumor type. It's about what the growth factor is, which the two are not necessarily related.
No. Yeah. So it would be definitely useful in certain types of cancer treatments, but
yeah.
Boy, that does really open it up. Nice. So was that in clinical trials?
It came out of a study out of the UK. The drug in question has already been, from what I understand, the drug in question has already been used as a supplement to chemotherapy, but as they're studying it further, they're discovering that with proper dosage, we may not need chemotherapy if we've got this stuff.
Yeah, what they talk about in the story is it's actually used there. It's two drugs, and they're actually used right now following tumor removal surgery, and then with the chemotherapy combined. So the one drug, Herceptin, actually isn't available for use unless you're going through chemo. But that's the whole thing. If they can show that it's working without it, we're not going to need the chemo. We can just treat with this cocktail.
And a lovely cocktail it is.
Yes.
So I see that you also have a story here on our lovely warm winter.
Yes, the warmest winter on record, in fact, since we've been recording.
Yeah, I believe it was warmer than last year, which was also the warmest winter on record.
Yeah.
And I think it was the one before that. That was also the warmest winter on record.
Yeah, it's just we're just putting more evidence on the pile of climate change is real, guys, and I'm gonna keep bringing it up and keep bashing it into people's heads until they, reach back, unclench, and pull head out of butt.
And stop bringing weather into it. It's like,
yeah.
Here is a snowball. Thank you, James Inhofe.
Oh, climate change is real.
Yeah.
Climate change is real, guys. It's a thing.
Yeah, I am definitely concerned about the sea level rise.
As you should be.
We live in Florida.
We live on an island here, actually, in Florida. So
we live in what will be an island.
Well, no, I live on Merritt Island.
Oh well, yeah, you do.
I quite.
That's right. I forget. You actually properly live on an island.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be a problem. What was it? See how it works.
That could be a problem for you.
In the chat room, Chefy Buck says, "How long until FPL figures out how to monetize the bacteria?" Yes. FPL would be Florida Power and Light. So yes, our local power distributor.
I don't know that they ever figure out how to monetize it. They would just sue them for breaking into their monopoly.
Right, yeah.
And then we'd have to determine whether or not bacteria can be sued. Are they a corporation? Are they people? How does that work?
I have an ice cube in my freezer. There is no global warming. Yep, there it is. That's about right.
I want to hit you people.
Okay. And and in other consistently we have to talk about it news, an anti-vax parent. Well, parents.
Yep.
No, they're not parents anymore unless they had like other kids.
They had a bunch of kids.
This particular child is dead because they did not vaccinate it. Now, this particular article does bring up something important. There was a lot of crap being circulated around about how they tried to treat their child with like maple syrup and stuff, and that's just ridiculous hyperbole. From what I've seen, there is no actual proof that they did that. They are not crazy. They just don't believe in vaccines.
Doesn't that technically make them a little crazy?
Well, it makes
them less crazy. Like, I want to everyone deserves an accurate representation of their insanity. These people did not think that they could cure their child's meningitis with maple syrup. They did, however, believe that getting a vaccine was not important, and therefore their child died of a preventable disease.
So then it's important. So now they know after the fact.
Yeah. Now they know.
Wasn't this the second time, or am I thinking of another family?
I believe that was a different family that we covered before.
I'm sure it happened more than twice.
Oh, it happens a lot. The Mormon Church in particular is coming under fire right now because because the church doesn't believe in vaccines.
There's a lot of anti-vaxxers
The church does not condone vaccinations, and so a lot of Mormons don't vaccinate, and their children are dying of things like measles. I
think the actual official stance of the church is that they do go with vaccines.
I severely doubt that, because anything the church says, the church members do, because it's a freaky cult.
Well, yes, but there's also, just like with Christianity or Islam or any others, there's many different splinter sects, and
no, I
think the main LDS church actually does support vaccination.
That's not what I've heard from people in the LDS church. So, like, they don't ban it or anything. It's not like
I would see it from the FLDS, the fundamentalist Latter-day Saints. They're a special breed.
Like the church doesn't ban it, as far as I know. It's not like what are those people who don't believe in modern medicine at all? Jehovah's Witnesses? Is that what it is?
The Jehovah's Witnesses and really the Christian Scientists.
Yeah, those people.
It's like, you're using language wrong. You are not a scientist. You might be Christian, but you're not a scientist.
No.
Also, according to BuzzFeed, the couple also said on Facebook, the situation that we find ourselves in is that there is an organization that is attempting to offer our family up on the sacrificial altar of the vaccine industry.
So they're someone else for their choices?
Oh yeah, of course. Now
it's not their fault.
Certainly,
no, not at all. Even though
Yeah.
they're the parents of the child that they decided not to vaccinate because they didn't feel it was important.
Yeah, but it's not their fault.
Yeah. Well, if it's in something that's easily preventable, is recommended by
all the doctors,
modern medicine, yeah, then they are at fault.
Well, yeah. That's really not part of the discussion. It's like they're definitely at fault for this.
There really is.
The court heard the couple on tape explaining to the police that they favor naturopathic remedies because they had previously received negative experiences from the Canadian medical health system. These remedies included maple syrup, juice with frozen berries, apple cider vinegar, horseradish root, hot peppers, mashed onion, garlic, and ginger root.
Yeah, that's the part that has been called into question. So I wanted to make sure we pointed that out. They may not be that level of crazy, but they are dumb enough to not vaccinate their kid.
Well, that was from the Calgary, British Columbia News. CBC News?
Well, CBC made the claim that they attempted to treat his illness at home with those remedies. Those are naturopathic remedies, but they're saying they didn't use those to treat them.
Yeah.
They just didn't treat him.
They just didn't do anything.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's damning. That is completely damning. I mean, at least if you're trying a naturopathic remedy, you're at least trying to
you're
make
putting
it better.
in the
You're not
effort.
ignoring the illness.
Someone from the chat room, Mom of Ann, is asking, is there a vaccine for meningitis?
There is. There is a vaccine for meningitis. Everyone gets it. There are just simply forms of meningitis that are incredibly aggressive, and the vaccine can't necessarily stop. There is a I believe it's viral. No, it's bacterial. It's the viral one is the one they've got a vaccine for.
Yeah, there's one that you'll like just develop a cough and you'll be okay.
Yeah,
most likely.
There's
a 1, 2, 3 days you're dead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the bacterial meningitis, which is incredibly aggressive, can't be vaccinated against yet, and can kill you real fast. Yes. That's the one that you see in like medical shows where they quarantine the hospital and stuff.
The court also heard that Stevens tried treating Ezekiel with Empower Plus.
What is that?
What is Empower Plus?
No idea.
Oh dear. The very first website is truehope.com.
Wow. You already lost me.
Yeah.
They're gonna heal it with faith?
It's faith in a pill?
How does that
or
work?
Or maybe faith drops? Okay. Understanding Empower Plus Advanced. Trademarked. Why is it important to take... it's a multivitamin supplement.
However, there is a video on that main webpage that the title of it is, What if Nutrition Could Treat Mental Illness?
Oh, that's what we're talking about.
An apple a day keeps depression away.
True Hope EM Power Plus is a unique and safe combination of 36 nutrients designed to provide nutritional support for the central nervous system. Suggested use for general health: take 4 capsules twice daily with food. Store in a cool, dry place. Note, consult a physician familiar with Empower Plus prior to use if you're taking psychotropic medication. Pregnant or lactating women and people with serious medical conditions should consult with a physician prior to use. Contact True Hope Support at 1-888-I'm-an-idiot for more information.
I'm reading the active ingredients list.
I am going to say, for the record, that I do not condone the violent murder of idiots. On a completely unrelated note, I have an alligator pond in my backyard.
Who doesn't? We live in Florida.
No. Remember,
just saying.
Forget alligator ponds.
You have an alligator.
Forget alligator ponds. Never trust a pig farmer.
Yeah, it's true. Never trust a pig farmer.
The reader for Empower Plus said, consult a physician familiar with Empower Plus. So, you know those memes where
no.
Batman is slapping the ever-living piss out of Robin?
I do.
Every time you go to a doctor and they're like, have you heard of Empower? Smack!
Yes, I'm familiar with it.
It's not real medicine. Slap.
Actually, I've been through a lot of doctors' offices because that's kind of my job. I go to doctors' offices all over the place, and one of the things I see is that they're always hawking something at the front counter, some random bit or supplement or whatever that they're getting a major profit off of it. If you buy one bottle for like $45 or some stupid amount of money, they're pocketing a lot of money off that, and they're always told to push it, pretty heavy.
That's what they do.
So this is the kind of thing that I would see at that counter. So yes, consult a doctor about it. The doctor that sold it to you. That's the kind of thing that this probably is.
Yep.
Well, it contains phenylalanine, and from the actual main thing of what it has in it, it's a multivitamin you could buy over the counter, like every other multivitamin in existence.
But it's got phenylalanine, isn't that something that has an FDA warning because it may cause cancer or some crap?
Cause possible fatal poisoning.
Meningitis.
Cause fatal poisoning in children under 6 due to iron.
Oh yeah, iron toxicity,
In
which is
children
not
under
pretty.
And this is a toddler.
And
Wait, and they were trying to treat
19
him.
months.
19 months, and they were treating him with this.
And the suggested serving size is 4 capsules twice daily.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I'm looking at this as scary. This is ridiculous.
But this couple is pleading not guilty on all charges.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, so 4 capsules twice daily with food. So that's 8 capsules. There's only 57 per container.
And it costs $80 per container.
Oh my God!
Just
You hit the
get
nail
the
on the head.
vaccine, people.
Oh my
Jesus.
See,
Fraction of the cost.
And it works.
Part of me is horrified at what happened. The other part of me is going, this is some incredibly good marketing they've got going on here.
Yeah.
There is that.
Well, we're definitely not saying anything good about it. Bah.
But to get people to not be able to do math and pay that much?
Man.
Yeah.
Proprietary blend. Chlorine bitrate, phenolphthalein, citrus bioflavonoids.
Bioflavonoids.
What
Yes.
the hell is that?
What the hell is a bioflavonoid?
And that I know I pronounced properly.
Yay!
Inositol, laudamine. Oh man.
Bioflavonoids are an antioxidant.
Oh, okay.
Germanium
Is that a flower?
in the well, that'd be geranium.
Oh,
This
sorry,
is-
my bad.
Geranium.
how we kill that right now. Because the whole anti-vaxxer thing basically, came about because it's a belief that vaccinations can be linked to an array of health conditions. Well, yes, we're using those vaccines to stop those health conditions. This stuff's got germ stuff in it. There's too many germs. I can't use it. So let's not use Empower Plus because of that germ. Germ.
Can Empower Plus Advanced be taken by children in the FAQ? As a multivitamin and mineral supplement, Empower Plus Advanced is 100% natural and safe. Naturalistic.
Everything is 100% natural.
Exactly. Many children with behavioral issues or mood disorders have been helped by Empower Plus Advanced formulation. Really?
In the FAQ.
In the FAQ, on their website. Yeah.
So basically, their FAQ says this works because we say it works.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
And they're also advocating it for use on your children with actual mental health disorders,
Yeah.
with ADHD or
Are there any are there any medical studies on this at all?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Or
What
is-
studies have been done on Empower Plus Advanced? Well, until now, the Empower Plus Advanced formulation has been available only for clinical use. There have been numerous studies on the effectiveness and safety of Empower Plus Advanced trademark formulation. There are currently 29 medical journal publications on the Empower Plus Advanced formulation. I wonder what they say.
I feel like I need
Run away
to look
is
these all up.
No, beyond that, forget the runaway. I want to know which medical journals they are, because anybody who's dealt with science and looked at making, possibly publishing stuff knows there are journals out there that you can literally just pay enough money to, and they will publish whatever crap you wrote.
Yeah, but those journals are laughed at by the scientific community.
They're
Those
still
aren't
published.
accredited.
Oh,
Those aren't accredited.
No,
but
it's still published, and how many people on here are going
What
to...
did you find?
This is awful. Okay, so the research summary, which was apparently done, it was released January 1st this year. Empower Plus, blah, blah, blah. Mental health research using Empower Plus. From True Hope, Mental and Physical Well-Being. That's the whole company. It's a long PDF. In the table of contents, ADHD, aggression, anxiety, autism, bipolar disorder, depression, explosive rage, general mental health, mood lability, obsessive compulsive disorder, psychosis, severe mood dysregulation,
Okay, stop.
and stress.
I would like to point out that all of these terms that they are using are not the official terms in the DSRV.
Well,
Or
even
DSRM.
beyond that, this is a freaking multivitamin.
Yeah.
How in the world is it supposed to fix all of this stuff?
Now, Now, as a mental illness sufferer, and having gone to an actual doctor and talked to them, there are a lot of things you can do with trace elements that are found in normally low quantities in the human body that have a surprising effect on some of these pathways. They're not well understood, but the effect is there, and it's more than a placebo effect. High quantities of zinc and magnesium, for example, are helpful. They don't know why, but they do help. So, as part of a regimen of medication, you're probably going to be given a multivitamin by, an actual doctor, not a quack.
Well, if you
But
want
that
to...
alone.
But see, that's what they're hinging off of.
It's
That's the nugget of truth in their lies.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that there's just a nugget. There's not enough.
But that's all you need.
Other
All the
stuff.
best lies have a nugget of truth in them, and that's how they get you.
And end up killing toddlers. in
Okay,
Canada.
so we have one in the Journal of Attention Disorders, which is an electronic publication. Okay, I don't recognize that one at all. The British Journal of Psychiatry. That's it.
Psychiatry.
Psychiatry, yeah. Conclusion of that study. This study provides preliminary evidence of efficacy for micronutrients in the treatment of ADHD symptoms in adults with a reassuring safety profile, which means it doesn't hurt them, but we don't actually have any evidence.
According to the chat room, B12 does help with some cases of depression.
Yeah. Did it have B12?
I don't think you said B12.
I didn't actually go through the long list, and it does have vitamin B12 at a 4,000% daily allowance in a per serving size. So one of those capsules has 1,000% of the B12 that you're supposed to have.
Doesn't your body only accept so much?
Yeah.
So why would you put more than your body needs?
They want you to take 8,000% B12. That's like having a 5-hour.
ludicrous.
That's like having a 5-hour energy shot with your meal, twice a day. That's
It also depends on whether it's fat soluble or water soluble vitamin.
That's true. Yeah, it does depend on how it's being absorbed. But you'd have to think that if they're going to charge this much, please at least don't put nasty fillers in it. At least have what you say is in it in a formulation that can be absorbed. That's the only hope that I could have here. Oh, and they're capsules too, so it's dry ingredient in the capsule. So it could be packed with sawdust, which is something that we've heard of and seen from even GNC. So yeah,
Yeah, you brought up a point, Andy. 5-hour energy. One of the main reasons you have so much energy after taking that is because of the B vitamins.
Yeah, it's a B12 shot basically. Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to chase away depression while you're being hit with it.
wakes you up. It makes your mind, race, and everything's good. So yeah, as long as you're on that. I mean, maybe these are, long lasting, but as was said in, the simple math. Thank you, Pope Deadpool, for just saying that this one bottle at whatever the astronomical value of it was isn't even 8 daily doses.
Yep.
It's not a 30-day supply. You're not going to get that. It's certainly not 90.
It's just ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Okay, we've spent too much time on this. But watch out for things like this. Follow the money. Just follow the money. That none of that makes any sense.
Just follow the money. Do your research. It's not hard. I mean, you can destroy this with a Google search. Come on.
Anything which says, "Hey, forget medical science. That's not going to work. Here, let me treat you with this thing over here." Always take it with a grain of salt.
The problem is the populace doesn't Google. The populace doesn't look at stuff. If someone says, "Hey, this is going to work," they just do it.
And
Well,
that's the real problem.
That is becoming less true as time goes on. It gives me
Yes,
hope.
but we still have that amount of sheeple that are out there that just go with what.
Oh God, you said.
Okay, do not use that phrase.
Don't say sheeple.
We already have tinfoil hat time. Let's not start using sheeple.
Yeah, we'll do tinfoil hats later, but I don't think doctors should be shilling this kind of crap. So if I go into a doctor's office and I see that kind of stuff, I immediately don't trust them. Immediately.
Yeah.
Well, you're skeptical. You actually have a brain in your head. A lot of people just go with what their doctor tells them. They don't even think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're coming from a point of authority. We are trained from very young to respect people of authority and reject, nonsense. Well, sort of. Actually, as I said, skepticism is no longer taught. I don't think it was ever really taught.
I think it's more being taught now than it ever has been.
In certain circumstances.
Yes.
Certain circles.
Depending on the people.
On this show.
Well, definitely.
Absolutely. Right here. On ORly Radio. Anyway.
That's what we're here for.
That's one of the things we're here for.
It's what we do.
So, let's see. Was that it? That was all of the science that we have. Whew.
Hi, ORly Radio listeners. This is your host, Andy Cowen, calling my voicemail to make sure that it still works. Please consider calling us, 470-222-6759. Bye.
Alrighty, and let's see if we have some good news. Oh, look, there is some good news out there. You know how we've been, again, trained to respect authority figures, and those authority figures have been telling us that if we raised the minimum wage, that food prices would just skyrocket and we wouldn't be able to afford anything. Well, apparently McDonald's, one of the largest employers in the United States and possibly the world, says that its wage hike is it's improving their service.
And they really reluctantly admit it.
Oh my God, it's like if you pay people, they're happy to come to work and happy to do their job.
The thing that gets me is quite aside from nebulous morale issues, which that's always going to be that's always going to be something you're just not going to be able to argue with a conservative dickbag because they don't care if people are happy. But there's something that
Trademark
can make sense to them is that if you pay people, they stick around. Turnover is low. So people have more experience, so they can do their job better because they have experience. You're not constantly bringing in new people who don't know what they're doing and having to train them.
Yeah. I have an anecdote for that. When I was working with IBM, we were traveling around to home loan centers, and we were changing out from, I'm going to date myself terribly, OS2 Warp to Windows 95.
Oh,
wow.
Good old days.
Yes. And when we were doing so, actually about halfway through we went to XP. It was kind of a crazy thing. At that stage, there were hundreds of computers that we had to do in a night, at each one of these locations. And it involved going through and actually physically changing out the hard drive in every single machine. Because we'd preload the image on the hard drive and just slap it in. And then it would go through the process. It was a bit labor intensive, and then there was things to do afterwards. So the project manager, was sending out local assistants to help the traveling team. We told them to go home because they were slowing us down because we'd have to train them. So instead, I'd get, a couple hundred machines done in a couple hours by just being brutally efficient and didn't have to bother with those other people.
Yep.
Yeah. However, it was there was a bit of a problem with that though, and I was young and stupid and realized way after the fact that I was paid by the hour, so I hurt myself so bad.
Yep.
So bad, and even then I was still working like 90 hours a week. And no, Sheffy Buck, yes, I know you also worked there, but no, we were changing out some 95 machines in the home loan centers. It was a little ridiculous, and yes, we did then go to XP, and then on to other things. So yeah, it was a bit crazy. So that was my anecdote.
Going back to the article, you have to realize, as much as this might be good publicity for McDonald's, reading the article further, this is only going to really affect about 10% of the actual entire McDonald's workforce, because the vast majority of them in the U.S. are franchise. They are not corporate.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
And the franchise rules are how they get away with all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah. But hey, at least it does provide a data point at least. And if corporate can do it, then the franchises can most likely do it too. Especially if they can't get good labor. The hamburger chain in April announced it would raise the average hourly rate for workers in the U.S. restaurants it owns to $9.90 from $9.01, starting July 2015, with average wages climbing above $10 per hour by the end of 2016. The company said that it would allow those employees to earn up to 5 days of paid vacation every year following 1 year of employment. Of course, this is far below the $15 minimum wage that is being advocated by everybody with a brain. The raises, which affected only about 10% of the workers. Let's see. So is this all about? Yeah. So is the CEO that really started this this whole thing?
But this is also
big ship moves slow.
This is also a very good nail in the coffin of those people that like to argue against the $15 an hour minimum wage by saying, well, why are you going to give $15 an hour to people that work at McDonald's? They can't even get my soda right. Mainly, Mom, I'm talking to you. That's
beautiful.
When you maintain a happy employee who can learn to do his job and is not rotating in a 90-day turnover, you actually learn how to do the things so that when I come to get a soda, they make it the right way. When I get a burger, it's made the right way. There's a care. I'm going to make that burger amazingly for $15 an hour.
Exactly. They give a crap because they're treated like people.
And when you're no longer worrying about whether or not you can pay your bills with $7.50 an hour,
it's a lot easier to just
exactly
go to work, do your job, and go home. You're not worrying all day.
You're not
thinking about other things.
Anything really.
It's a combination of good pay and good managers. At that point, you no longer anybody who's in the tech industry understands. Office Space was right. There are times you have jobs where you work just hard enough not to get fired.
And any minimum wage job is like that.
I would like to quote the McDonald's U.S. President, Mike Andres. It has done what we expected it to do. 90-day
they know.
Are down. Our survey scores are up. We have more staff in restaurants.
From the horse's mouth,
they
know
more staff in restaurants.
My God, it's almost like their employees can now afford their food.
They haven't cut their workforce, and they've raised their salary.
See, this is the great thing that people need to pay attention to. All of these conservative dickbags arguing against raising the minimum wage, they know it works. They know it will make things better. All it will do is hurt their pocketbook, and that's why they try to convince you that it won't work. But from the from the Lord of Evil atop Mount Doom himself, the CEO of McDonald's, they knew it would happen.
Hey, he brought back the all-day breakfast, which, of course, my waistline says, "You bastard." Yeah. So the same guy. But yeah, it has done what we expected it to do. They do know. They absolutely know. The research is in. They have it. They're just maintaining that rhetoric because they can.
Their bottom line.
Yeah.
It has to do with the money that they're making.
Yeah.
And it's not even the bottom line, because it's not the company's profits. It's their huge bonuses and salaries that they put in their pocket.
Their income.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with the profitability of the company.
Again, we go back to the older we've had. It's the short-term versus the long-term view. Short-term, they're going to make a little less personally. Long-term, they're going to make a hell of a lot more. But they have to go through that little period.
Which most companies don't want to do.
Because most companies have to deal with shareholders, and shareholders tend to be incredibly short-sighted.
And greedy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, when the entire market reacts on the basis of a tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just reactionary. There's no real market trends
based.
there. Yeah, it's emotion. Yeah, we can just jerk that chain wherever we want. We learned that from Enron. Anyway, how about a logical fallacy? Tonight's logical fallacy is
the gambler's fallacy. You said that runs occur to I can't say this word. Statistically independent phenomenon such as roulette wheel spins. This commonly believed fallacy can be said to have helped create an entire city in the desert of Nevada, USA. Though the overall odds of a big run happening may be low, each spin of the wheel is itself entirely independent from the last. So whilst there may be a very small chance that heads will come up 20 times in a row, if you flip a coin, the chances of heads coming up on each individual flip remain 50-50 and aren't influenced by what happened before. Example, red had come up 6 times in a row on the roulette wheel, so Greg knew that it was close to certain that black would come up next. Suffering an economic form of natural selection with this thinking, he soon lost all of his savings.
Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah. Hey, and now it's time for the bad, and I have a last-minute entry, but it's actually from the 3rd, March 3rd. From here in Florida. Well, a little background first. Okay, so you might have heard about that iPhone that was locked, and the authorities were trying to get into it. This is all about the shooters. Yeah. Well, they asked Apple to rewrite the operating system to allow them to crack it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What they literally asked them to do was to push an over-the-air fix for that phone in particular, which they do have the ability to do, which would remove the 10-try limit before the phone wipes itself. So they could just try as many times as they want. And also to allow them to run an automated brute force cracker as fast as the silicon would allow. So
which incidentally will damage your device.
Yeah, instead of somebody going through 00000, nope, 00001, nope, 0000, you know, and trying every combination possible, they would want to hook it up via USB to another device and let that basically run through them as fast as possible. Now, Tim Cook at this point, the CEO of Apple, has basically said, no, we're not going to do that. Even with a court order, no, we're not going to do that.
Why?
Because it sets a bad precedent. Because then any government could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like China.
Privacy is dead.
Yeah. But of course, there are other problems with that. You know, we have avoided talking about this so far because, you know, I was waiting for the right panel to discuss the whole Apple security thing. I think that they've done the right thing in not allowing that. But also there is the problem with if you do have a warrant things that are in a safe can be opened. You know, that is the legal system that we have.
Yeah, in a particular case, wouldn't it be useful?
No, but see, here's
it would be
here's the problem.
tremendously useful.
Here's the problem, though. If you code it, you can't stop them from using it whenever they want. If they make it just a capability of the device, they just code it right into, they either code it into the OS or they just give the government the OS code.
Then all of them are
Well,
like that.
then it doesn't matter if they have a warrant or not. They can already access the device. They're not going to ask anymore. They're just going to go looking. We already know they violate our privacy left and right.
Well, what was being asked specifically was for this individual device to be done on an individual basis, because each device, amazingly enough, each device does have its own firmware based on serial number and the way that they've engineered the device. They've got hats off to Apple. They have developed a very secure phone. It is very difficult to break into now.
But once they've done it once,
yeah,
it's not that hard. Once you've been given the key to one door, they can figure it out how to break into the others.
And there's no way to keep it from going.
And there's no way to stop it.
Once you make that door, the door exists. So
and there's no way to stop them ever.
Yeah, because once you've done it, it's yes, they would make it for the one phone.
But once the government has the key, they're going to get into all of the phones. I mean, not.
Well, the thing is, once it's there, then the very, very smart people at the NSA will take that code that was delivered to that phone, and they are going to reverse engineer that, and then it is theirs.
Take the information.
And they will not be the only ones that get that, because, you know, there's only two people that can keep a secret, and one of them's dead.
Yeah.
This is not how information works, basically.
Exactly.
If someone has the information, everyone has it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
especially in the age of the internet.
Well, yeah.
But of course, we're in Freedom Nation. Bum, bum, bum. America! Freedom! Aren't you afraid of the terrorists?
The government.
In this case, yeah, it is the government.
I love my country. I fear my government, and that's the way it should be. So, well, now, to bring it down to the story, now that you've got the background. To get back at Apple, according to this article out on Ars Technica, a GOP congressman introduced a pointless bill.
Surprise!
So, Florida congressman...
Oh, Florida.
Yeah. Representative David Jolly, he blasted Apple in a statement, introduced a bill that would forbid federal agencies from purchasing Apple products until the company cooperates with the federal court order to assist the unlocking of a seized phone, iPhone 5C, associated with the San Bernardino terrorist attack.
So they're doing the child thing. If you can't do what I want you to do, you can't have anything.
Exactly. Yeah. They're taking their ball and go home.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the GOP, Tantrum Central.
Yeah. This is their only tactic. I mean, remember what happened with the government shutdown?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys won't give us what we want, so we're going to shut down the whole government. We're going to take our ball and go home.
It's Lucy taking the football. Yeah, every time.
Right.
Every time.
This is not how life works.
Yeah. Mama Vanna out in the chat room says, Snowden. Yes. Absolutely. We know better. We know better than to trust the government as soon as these keys are there. They're going to use them for whatever purpose suits their political agenda at the time.
Yeah.
The funny thing I love about this is the more I've researched it and the more time has gone on, you see how many other companies are siding with Apple in this dispute. Specifically, we've got Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook fame, but we also have the Microsoft's Satya Nadella, and we also have the CEO of Google. So literally, it's the government dealing with the people who can literally shut down the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing they don't get. The government thinks that they can control the internet. No, they can't.
Well, no. The government, which is, of course, a weird buzzword. It doesn't actually exist in that fashion. But the people that aren't elected, the people that are there all the time, the ones that are the subject matter experts on the things, the people that the DARPAs and the, all of those, they know better. They know that's not how this works. But the people that are elected based on whatever their Twitter followers are feeling that day, the whim of the people, they don't know. They don't know. Hey, let's call Bill Gates and have him just shut down the internet, said Trump.
Yeah, because that's how it works.
That's not how this works. One, it doesn't work for Microsoft anymore. He's retired. He'll tell you more about how to desalinate water in a foreign country than he will about how to shut down the internet right now.
Yeah.
But it can't be done that way. The internet is designed to route itself around problems. That is its nature. Is to survive a shutdown. It doesn't want to go down. That's its whole purpose, is to stay alive.
Yep. Stay up at all costs.
Yeah. So that was the bad for Florida, but it's something that it's kind of good. It's got a little bit of a silver lining. So now let's go into something really bad.
Well, hold on. Before we go into something really bad.
Okay.
I want to look more at the transparency of this whole thing, and really, why is this a battle being fought as hard as it is? Because here's the most important thing in all of this. This was a work-issued cell phone that most likely was not used to talk to any other terrorist or to plan any attacks, and this has been admitted as such by the San Bernardino sheriff, who was basically like, they probably didn't use that for anything. Why do we care?
Well,
also, as the government, if you are telling me that you knew this person had terrorist leanings, and don't lie to me and tell me you didn't, why didn't you know who he was talking to? I'm not going to give you the keys to a bigger playground if with the big playground you already have, you didn't have the information in the first place.
Yeah, you already have a real big sandbox to play in, guys. Could you really not figure out?
I would like to point out that we have a new visitor in the chat room.
Wonder Chicken!
Year of Purdue Wonder Chicken says that, but the Florida congressman who proposed the bill doesn't actually think it's going to do anything. He's only doing it to appeal to his base in a re-election year. I've never had a Purdue chicken say something so poignant.
Like Republicans do.
Because that's very true. Great screen name. Okay. So why go after this ancillary phone when the phones that they actually were using they destroyed completely, which should have been the real targets? Well, it's a soft target. This is basically the softball out on the minefield.
No, it gives them a jumping point to be able to fight a battle they've been looking for a way in to fight for a while now.
It's an easy statement. I can't remember who said it, but let no tragedy go unused, basically, because right now they can play on the fears. It is the terrorism tactic. It's the fear mongering. There is an option for leverage where they can get in on the emotional bent, where everybody's going to say, "Yeah, freedom. Yes, they obviously need to get in that phone to stop the terrorists."
Hello, Patriot Act.
It is Patriot Act.
There's an opportunity, regardless of whether it's good or bad.
Yeah,
but beyond that, I remember reading an article actually recently that said Apple has said themselves, "Yeah, bring us the phone. We'll unlock it for you and hand it to you, but we're not handing you software to do it yourself."
Yeah, we're not going to teach you how to do it yourself.
They had no problem with the idea. Yeah, we'll unlock the phone for you, no problem. We're just not going to let you go willy-nilly with them.
Well, actually, I don't think they cannot do that anymore. They can't unlock the phone.
I highly doubt that.
They're purposely doing it to avoid these imperial entanglements.
No, but see, that again, I highly doubt that, because there's already precedent for, say, if you own a server and someone is hosting on your server and they do something illegal, if the authorities get a warrant, they get to come look at what's on the server.
But they've already given over the backups. Anything that Apple already had access to, they've given them.
So,
however,
well, see, okay,
the
now
physical phone themselves, they in the most recent updates, removed the ability for them to do this.
But do they cloud everything? Is there a backup of everything on every phone?
No, there is not.
Then I think there's a problem with them not being able to get into their own machine.
It's not their machine. It is their.
Come on, it's Apple.
I know. It is their. It is, but it's a new Apple. It's not the Steve Jobs Apple.
I don't fucking believe it.
Well, no, they're specifically making this stand because I mean it'd be easy for them to just say yes and just comply, but no, that's not what they're doing. So what they've taken the stand that they're going to not be able to get into people's private information. That is theirs. Now, if they put something up on their servers, of course they can get it. But if you don't have your iTunes cloud backup going up, Sheffy Buck says, Apple pretty much admitted that they would have done all of this with no fuss if they were issued a FISA order, but the feds wanted a public precedent. Yeah, and if it's a FISA order, well, they wouldn't have been able to say anything anyway. So yeah, this is all a public show.
Yeah.
But one of the things that they are really working on is no longer being able to get into the devices, so that this can't come up again.
Actually, looking up an article I just found, thanks to Pope Deadpool, he actually showed this to me, that Snowden himself in an interview said, no, the FBI has the technology and capability to break the phone all they want. They just want to get this to make it easier. But they could do it without a problem already.
I'm wondering if that's on the new iOS or the old. It depends, because every time they release a patch, it gets better, it gets more secure, and they remove the ability to get in as they had before. So it's something that we're going to just have to keep looking at. You know, encryption, it's math. You know, the math is there. If you can't beat the math, you can beat the math eventually with bigger math. But still, encryption works, and they want it to be private. They want us to actually have some privacy, and I'm in favor of any company that wants us to. No, it was not running a 7X build. That was something erroneous that was mentioned, and it was actually up on 9, I believe. So yeah, it had gotten an update. I think they were thinking about the ones that were their private phones. Not sure, but I watched that security now as well, and it was retracted about midway through. So yeah, I've been keeping track of this too. So yeah, it's as the software gets released, yeah, it changes around. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna have to keep watching that, and I will. All right, so in other horrible news, well, bad news at least. I guess it's bad. This is one of those ethical dilemmas. Alabama Republican wants to castrate sex offenders who abuse children. What do you think about that? Popping it out there. What do you think about that?
Actually, knowing the article and reading what I'm seeing here, I come from the.
By the way, it's surgical. It's not chemical. It's not chemical castration. Yeah. They want their
actual castration.
Yeah. They want the balls cut off.
Hold on. It's men or women. It's not just targeted at men.
Oh yeah, male and female sex offenders.
Anyone who is a sex offender, regardless
of someone
of sex.
12 years or under.
But again, that's the issue. That's one of the issues that I hit is the term sex offender. I will say this: I have a friend who actually is a registered sex offender. Now, in Florida specifically, I don't know about the other states, but I'm well versed in Florida law when it comes to this. There are 2 categories. You have sexual offenders and sexual predators. Mm-hmm. Sexual predator is somebody who has actually had sexual contact with a minor. However that be. A sexual offender is, okay, you viewed child porn. It can be as for little as public urination can get you convicted as a sex offender in Florida. I've actually was privy to a case where this happened.
Yeah, you can get on the registry for stupid shit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that's where I read this article, and they're using the term sex offender a lot, and I'm going, I really don't agree with it coming from that perspective. Again, but really, I have personal experience with this.
Yeah.
But, and I understand that what you're looking at is a semantics thing between how do they use the term sex offender. And
but it's important in this case.
However, the punishment would apply to both male and female offenders who, at the age of 21 or older, sexually victimized children aged 12 or younger. So it's pretty laid out.
That's the problem. Having listened to lawyers and everything else argue these cases on both sides, what is the legal definition of sexually victimized? We, as sitting outside, can say, oh, it's actual sexual contact or anything else, but the actual legal fight over that term
is too broad.
Yeah, it's way too broad. It could be literally, oh look, this 6-year-old girl viewed a man's penis while he was pissing against a wall. That, by a lawyer in Florida, could be argued as sexual victimization. And I've seen it done.
Yeah.
I think you've got to win that case. You have to prove to me.
But it happens all the time.
That's the problem. In certain states... Oh, go ahead.
Is with this particular thing, it's one of those particular cases where it's a case-by-case basis, but they're treating it as not as such. They want it to be all of them as a blanket statement, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, they want to do the thing that, they want to have a zero-tolerance policy, which, we've proven time and time again that zero-tolerance policies don't work, but that's beside the point. They want to do that because it looks tough and fair, and it's good politically.
Oh, Mama Van in the chat room. Well, there goes half the testicles in the Catholic Church.
Right.
Oh.
The other problem with this is that you are, like, if they were talking about chemical castration, I'd kind of be on the side of yes on this. Because
reversible?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want people like that reproducing.
Well, again, I'm also of the opinion
physically mutilating them?
Yeah.
No.
Well, beyond that, I'm
a little
even
too far here.
In truth,
let me read this for the listener. Okay. An Alabama state representative had introduced a bill to require surgical castration of adult sex offenders who target children. Quote, they have marked this child for life and the punishment should fit the crime, end quote. Said State Representative Steve Hurst. Would you care to guess which party? Yeah, Republican. Told WIA-TV after filing the bill last week. Alabama House Bill 365 would force these sex offenders to undergo surgical castration before being released from prison. The punishment would apply to both male and female offenders who, at age of 21 or older, sexually victimized children at age 12 or younger. This isn't the first time that Hearst has tried to pass this legislation. In 2013, he proposed a similar bill, which failed. Quote, I had people call me in the past when I introduced it and said, don't you think this is inhumane? The lawmaker said, according to the TV station. I asked them, what's more inhumane than when you take a little infant child, okay, so he's going way younger than 12, and you sexually molest that infant child. He's definitely using the buzzword infant. He's proving a point. Well, no, he could just say child. But yeah, no, he's pushing it younger and younger.
He's trying to get that emotional...
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
it's the same thing that they always do. It's a fear tactic. It's all they've got.
Mm-hmm. So when the child cannot defend themselves or get away, and they have to go through all the things that they have to go through, if you want to talk about inhumane, that's inhumane. So this man lives very much in an eye for an eye, tooth for tooth kind of society when he's saying cut their balls off.
But that doesn't, or mutilate their vagina.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not necessarily going to, first of all, that's not eye for an eye. Because, yes, you've done psychological harm to a child, but you probably haven't mutilated their body.
Well, he says, no, the punishment should fit the crime. They have marked this child for life, and the punishment should fit the crime. It is not.
They have marked the child psychologically for life.
It's eye for an eye in his mindset.
Yeah. But it's not eye for an eye. It's some twisted, sick version of it, where you're equating one injury to another. That's not how it works. If you want to do eye for an eye, you have to do the exact same thing to the perpetrator that they did for their victim. If you're going to go eye for an eye, do that.
That's a much more literal version of that.
But if you're gonna go, that's the only one that makes any kind of rational sense.
I don't think any of this makes any rational sense.
No. There is precedent of this kind of punishment. 9 other states have laws that allow male sex offenders to be chemically castrated.
Chemical castration is different from actual castration.
Yeah,
it's way different from mutilating someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Those states, for the record, Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Louisiana, Montana, Oregon, Texas, and Wisconsin.
Those are all red states, aren't they?
Well, except for us in California.
And Florida and California. California's in there, too, are the only states to require such treatments for... Oh, we actually require it. Require such treatment for repeat sex offenders.
Look, again, I'm of an interesting, sometimes minority when it comes to these kind of things. I'm personally against it, whether it comes to this physical, which I agree with Pope Deadpool, what he said in the chat, which is that classifies as cruel and unusual punishment what this guy wants. But I'm also against the chemical one. I'm sorry. These people, they need help. Obviously, they need to be possibly put away and given lots of rehabilitation and lots of help. And if they can't somehow recover from that, then they need to just simply be put away and locked away and left there.
Yeah, experts on castration. There are such people as experts on castration as punishment say that the procedure can be effective in reducing sex drive, but that it does nothing to rehabilitate the mental state of sex offenders.
No, you actually have to go to therapy for that. You can't just take pills and expect it to be better.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Steve's roommate, JP. Hi, Mike. Hi, Andy. I've been listening to the conversation out in the other room, and I wanted to say something, if I can. So I am a child abuse victim. My stepfather raped me repeatedly when I was a little kid. Just getting that out there.
Okay. But I have no valid response that I can possibly give for that.
No, it's fine. But as a child abuse victim, I'm actually incredibly against this. Like, I do think that it does constitute cruel and unusual punishment. Like, even though I have suffered at those hands, like, I still don't advocate this. So I don't know what the fuck this guy's smoking, but
Definitely not marijuana.
He must be smoking the Lord's reefer.
Bless.
I don't know what he's smoking, but it's not.
No, it's not going to fix anything. You're right.
Well, we have a problem in this country anyway with incarceration and just keeping people incarcerated.
We have issues with mental illness. And that's it's not completely the problem, but part of this comes from that.
Is it a mental illness?
I think in some cases, not all, because, that just doesn't work.
But in some cases, yes.
Personality was deemed a mental illness. This is just their proclivity. You don't know. People can be born like this. It may not be a mental illness. So throwing pills and mental health at it may not work.
Well, neither will castrating them.
Well, I'm just saying that
castrating will keep them from doing it in the future.
Not
That
necessarily.
is not true, because you can still molest someone without having, private parts. I mean,
exactly.
The thing.
Effective in reducing sex drive, the drive and the desire isn't going to be there.
But see that also doesn't work, because for a lot of people with these kind of deviant behaviors, the psychology itself becomes an addiction. They may not necessarily have the sexual desire to do it. The hormones aren't always there during the act, but they've built a psychology around it that they're essentially addicted to the act.
And not just that.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, I would almost say that it would aggravate it, because in a lot of cases, it's not necessarily a sexual thing, it's a power thing.
Yeah.
Abusing somebody smaller than you. If you're feeling even more emasculated and more powerless, you're going to go seek victims to go hurt anyways.
Yeah, the psychology of victimization is definitely a big thing. You see it in sexual sadists, like on the serial killer level. A lot of them are impotent because they can't perform. They get violent.
And they start stabbing bitches.
Is highlighting different sides of an argument where you can't really pull out what the underlying issue is, because you're absolutely right. There may be the mental health issue of they just want to dominate and abuse and have that power trip, but it may not, and it may be the flip side where they're just innately, those are their proclivities. That's what they're attracted to.
To quote the little girl with the tacos, why not both? I don't think that we exist in a vacuum. We have all of this. We have a rainbow of dysfunction.
But
that's the thing, is that it's a whole big spectrum. There's a lot of factors going on, and these guys want this one magic bullet that's supposedly going to solve all the problems, and it just doesn't work that way. So you can't do it.
I think that this guy is just getting off on the idea of cutting somebody else's balls off.
It sounds like he's the sexual predator.
It does a little bit, yeah.
Well, no, it's a re-election ploy, so when he runs again, he can say, "Oh, look, I tried to be tough on crime, but look at what these people did. Now your children are going to be harmed because they wouldn't let this bill be passed."
Yeah, freedom, America. Protect the children, protect the innocents. All that. Yeah, it's asinine. Thank you, JP, for chiming in on that.
She is very happy to have chimed in on that, and I'm going to try to get her a headset so she can become a regular commentator herself.
Oh, Wonderful.
Yay!
Wonderful.
Well, she has to earn that press badge somehow.
Absolutely. Yeah. Genital mutilation in general, I'm kind of against. And so is Amnesty International. They're against that too.
Oh, yeah.
And so is the United Nations.
Yeah.
So I think that just based on that, for international law's sake, we should probably just not.
Just
let's
can we not? Can we not?
Maybe give them the pill. At least let's not violate their bodies.
It should be a case-by-case basis, as with any kind of thing, honestly.
Well, if it's bad enough, they might get the chair. Here in Florida, we still have the death penalty, which is a totally different conversation. We're not.
That's a totally different argument. That could take hours on its own.
That would be a special.
No, I can't do that.
We'll get into that later. That's not this one. I don't think it's just, but really the point that I wanted to make to bring it back around is, we have all these people in jail, and then we just let them out. We do not rehabilitate people. We simply imprison them.
Any effective punishment includes an element of rehabilitation. That's why our criminal justice system is stupid.
Look at Norway, look at Sweden, look at a lot of the Nordic countries. They actually had to close prisons down because they didn't have the population.
But look at how you train your damn dog. It does something bad, so you rub its nose in it, and you let it know that you're cross with it, and then you double down on the training of what is the right thing to do. There has to be carrot and stick, or else it doesn't work.
Well, I think some motivations are just right for some people. And it's very much, as Ren said, a case-by-case basis. My
point is that there has to be carrot and stick to apply to a wider breadth of audience. Essentially, there has to be both. There has to be a focus on punishment because people deserve to be punished, and there has to be a focus on rehabilitation to get them to be productive members of society and not do the bad thing again.
But
if all you are is stick and no carrot, then it's not going to work.
The carrot is freedom and being a contributing member of society, and
some people don't want that. It's always a case-by-case basis, depending on the person that you're dealing with.
There are going to be people who just never want to fit into the mold, but there are also going to be people who they don't know any better. They've never lived a life that isn't a criminal life, so you have to teach them to be a productive member of society, and we don't do that.
No,
some people can be rehabilitated while others can't.
No, I absolutely acknowledge that. Some people are just bad eggs. That's a fact.
There are some, but really, I think by and large, everyone has a chance.
But I mean, if you brought up Norway and Sweden,
given the chance,
Norway and Sweden are any indication, way more people can be rehabilitated than conservative dickbags want us to believe.
Well, it's about how the prisoners are treated inside the situations.
Exactly.
They're given actually a life where they don't have to fight for everything and worry about being stabbed every day. And
they're given a chance.
I've watched videos of families having, normal families come over to the island where all these prisons are and having picnics, and everything's great and wonderful. And some of these people are actual murderers.
Yeah.
But they're treated completely different. The way they're stigmatized is entirely different in their society.
Yeah, we definitely have this vengeance culture.
Yes.
America.
But I'm all about justice and people getting punished because I believe that's right, and again, I believe that is part of the process, and it's a necessary part of the process. But what we do doesn't work. We can see from Norway and Sweden, for example, that you need more than just the punishment. These people are prisoners. They're not free. They can't do whatever they want. They still have to jump when the warden says jump, but they come out and they don't go back to crime.
You are burning up the chat room, and this is a radio show. So hey. What's on your mind, man?
You guys are handling. I'm just conversing with the people in the chat room. I mean, you're not saying anything that, I've put out my view on this when we talk about these things. I mean, this is the first time I've really been in a conversation. I have this in my past as well. With what JP said. Everybody has a different way that you take what has happened to you and move forward. I don't advocate for what this guy is advocating for. Off the cuff, immediate, I don't look at it and go, this is bad. I look at it and go, this isn't the right way that we need to be dealing with this. I look at it as that is not, as Mike said, the magic bullet, and just blindly saying mental health or rehabilitation is the magic bullet. It's too complex. Yeah. You have to take it from... It needs to be examined. It needs to be studied. More needs to be done, and it may be a situation where people are like, I don't want to study that because I don't want to dirty my hands. Somebody's going to have to do it.
I think, academically speaking, it has been done, and it's been done a lot, which is why we have cases like Norway and Sweden and Denmark, all those Scandinavian countries.
These people that they don't just throw people in jail, they do psych profiles on them.
Yeah.
And they analyze the shit out of them.
So not only do we have the studies, but we have real-world examples of where they work. So the work has been done. The problem we have here in this country is a for-profit prison system.
Yeah.
Where there is no money in letting people go.
There's money in recidivism.
Yeah.
But also, as you said, Andy, we have that punishment ideal mindset. We don't care about what happens. Just we have to hurt these people for what they did, but we don't care what happens to them afterwards. They're no longer a person in the eyes of most people.
We want them mutilated, and we never ever want to bring them back, and we certainly don't want to ever forgive them. There is zero forgiveness in this country.
There's a vengeance, more of a yes, they did wrong, punish them.
Yeah, it's not justice, because justice is what I'm advocating. They did wrong. They deserve to be punished. Now let's make them a productive member of society again.
Exactly.
It's all about
they did wrong, let's fix the problem.
Yeah.
We don't do that here.
Yeah, there should be a psychology, and I really believe there is a psychology in some of these other nations who do it right, of where society views a criminal as a failure on their part. This person has fallen through the cracks, and it may be our fault. Collectively as a society, because no society is perfect and bad things happen to good people, and it's a thing that happens.
It is.
And so they do everything in their power to fix their mistake. And if someone goes back to a life of crime afterwards, well, it's the whole fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you.
You can only do so much.
Yeah, you can only do so much.
So I'd just like to point out to the listeners out there that we do have a very active chat room this evening. We've got people listening, and you too can be a part of the show, because we do look at that, and well, you've heard, we are pulling things directly from that. That is affecting the flow of the show.
We are.
So
audience participation.
Yes, you can participate in the show. This is as much your show as it is mine. Please come in and talk to us, because it is all about the conversation, and this is definitely a good conversation. If you want us to have this kind of conversation again, let us know. If this just tweak the hell out of you, then let us know. Tell us where we got it wrong, and we may laugh, we may cry, and then we'll come back to the table and we'll discuss it again if we need to. And I suppose one of these days we probably ought to talk about capital punishment too.
Yeah, we keep dancing around the issue because we know it's going to take up.
We need to start doing specials. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, we know that's going to be a 3-hour conversation.
But I agree, we should do specials. Like
Monday night special. There we go. Problem solved.
And we can do specials. Actually, if we get some sponsors here, maybe we could have a second show that's the specials.
Yeah.
This could be the new show, but then we'll do
I'll give you a topic. Discuss.
Yeah.
Oh geez.
Coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
You gotta say it right.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not
coffee talk.
So anyway, I think that's enough for the castration conversation.
We'll come back to it later.
It's possible.
I guarantee that I ever think I wanted to say. Yeah, we'll come back to the castration later.
Moving on.
So let's talk about religion.
Oh boy!
That's a great thing to switch to.
Segway!
Said no one.
Well, on this show, it's pretty
out of the frying pan into the Inquisition.
The Inquisition. What a show.
Where's the comfy chair?
The comfy chair. Okay. So in Missouri, religious freedom bill passes as a 39-hour filibuster ended.
Wow.
Okay. Explain to me what a filibuster is.
Where they talk long enough to hopefully not get you to vote.
Well, let
There's
me
a rule
explain this in more detail.
Well, let me
I have a subject
try to-
matter expert.
let me try to explain it simply. Because I know the full story and I have trouble following it. I know you're the subject matter expert. Let's see if we can just explain it in simple terms.
Go for it.
Simpleton.
There's a rule in the government that says if you have the floor and you are talking, no one can interrupt you for any reason. So as long as you stand and are talking about whatever, they can't call a vote.
Like Ted Cruz reading Green Eggs and Ham.
I mean, is that accurate?
He did that.
For the most part,
Essentially?
yes. The fun part is, if anybody watched Mr. Smith Goes to Washington,
Yes.
that showed a perfect example of, I'm sorry that I have to say this, old school original filibustering, which means once you start, you can't stop, no one can take over for you, and no, they can't just vote without you stopping, but you also have to maintain at least roughly on topic. So if you're discussing anything involving government, you can just switch to starting reading the Constitution line by line, and that would have counted. Nowadays, of course, with a lot of people getting older in the Senate and the House in both states and actual national Congress, they've relaxed the rules a little bit where, okay, they can call for recess so people can go to bathroom breaks because you couldn't do that before. And, okay, we can recess for the day and we'll come back and they'll ask, are you continuing to talk? They will say yes, okay, cede the floor to them and it'll continue on. It's gotten much nicer than it was because they used to have people, senators, congressmen, passing out from doing 36, 39, 48-hour filibusters. They would just drop eventually and, oh, they've stopped. Okay, we can go on now.
Honestly, I think it should go back to the original.
I would love to go back to that.
Now, it's
If
been
we're going to have filibusters at all, it needs to go back
Because
to
what
that.
you can do now is that you're filibustering, you can actually have somebody step in for you and continue it.
Well, hold on. It's been explained to you now, and you're kind of huffing over there because I think you're still looking at this in the wrong way. This was a Democratic filibuster for a vote for a bill that is negative. They were using this in a positive way. It's used both for good and for evil.
Yeah.
It
I'm
is
mostly
neutral
here
in that
for
way.
the evil part, so I just assumed.
Well, yeah,
My bad.
it is always an obstruction measure.
Yeah, it's been used both by one side and the other side, usually to stop a bill or to delay things. Sometimes the bill they're trying to stop is like this thing. It's something that can lead to horrific consequences. Sometimes it's a bill that could be really beneficial, but one party doesn't want it, so they filibuster it.
So this thing, which is Senate Joint Resolution number 39 of the 98th General Assembly in the second regular session, submitted to the qualified voters of Missouri an amendment to Article 1 of the Constitution of Missouri by adding thereto one new section relating to the protection of certain religious organizations and individuals from being penalized by the state because of their sincere religious beliefs or practices concerning marriage between two persons of the same sex.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that bill. It's one of those, and the Democrats were like, that shouldn't ever get heard.
Yeah, no.
That should go away.
They need a spray bottle.
Bad.
No. No. No.
I would sign up
Hit
for
him
that
with a rolled up
job.
newspaper.
Yeah.
Oh, I want that job. I'd be really good at it.
Pope Deadpool says, most part correct, one of the most famous filibusters was Strom Thurmond. Very true.
Yes.
He had a congressional page, bring a bucket to piss in.
Yep.
Back during the good old days when
The good old days. When you could call the piss boy to Senate.
No one should ever have a puss boy.
Well, I love loopholes in things like this.
Yes?
Protection of certain religious organizations and individuals from being penalized by the state because of their sincere religious beliefs or practices concerning marriage between two persons of the same sex. Do you know how, like, in Arizona, where they were letting them pray before certain hearings, and then The Church of Satan was like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, we want to do an invocation.
Mhm.
So if
religious liberty, yes, let us in. Let us in.
Certain individuals in that religious organization decide that they want to stand up for people of the same sex marrying because it is a practice concerning marriage between two persons of the same sex.
Right.
Well, then, I mean, the state really can't do anything about their sincere religious belief on that.
But watch how fast they'll turn the hell around. Just watch.
Yeah.
If it gets this thing repealed.
Can they still pass a bill even though the Supreme Court has stated that it's...
Well, let's look at what this actually does. This does not forbid gay marriage.
Okay, what does it do?
It allows businesses to discriminate against people who are gay married.
Yeah, it's legal discrimination is what it is.
Actually, looking at this, Section 1, Article 1, Section 36(1.1), that the state shall not impose a penalty on a religious organization on the basis that the organization believes or acts in accordance with a sincere religious belief concerning marriage between two persons of the same sex. Part 2, that the state shall not impose a penalty on any clergy or other religious leader on the basis that such cleric or leader declines to perform, etc., because of a sincere religious belief concerning marriage between two persons of the same sex. Basically saying we're not going to impose any penalty on any church or organization like that that has a problem with it. It's not. We're not saying you can't do it. We're saying they can't be sued for not doing it.
Yeah, they're saying that all the anti-discrimination laws in this country don't apply to us.
Well,
just
which
the
is
Christians.
bullshit.
I'm assuming it doesn't involve.
Oh no, it's always just
it involves.
as soon as anyone who isn't Christian tries to do this,
well,
they
actually,
will destroy them.
Reading this bill, I actually have to say about that. I was actually sadly somewhat impressed about this. They actually state, Section 1, Part 3, that the state shall not impose a penalty on any church, synagogue, mosque, temple, or other house of worship, denomination, or other religious organization.
Yeah. I'm not talking about the legalese they used to say to cover their ass and make themselves look good. I'm talking about what will actually happen in real life.
Oh yeah.
Because what actually happens in real life is that if anyone who is not white bread Christian tries this, they will immediately get pounced on.
Well, here's the thing. Let's do a quick thought experiment. Now, being that I can marry people,
as can I.
As can I.
You have a notary?
Yes, notaries, absolutely. So, if you happen to be gay and you want to be married, we are not going to call it gay married because it's just marriage. Because it's legal and all that.
I don't know, some people are really happy.
Wouldn't you go someplace where the person wanted to do the ceremony? I mean, under no circumstances is a happy married, couple going to want to get married by some bigot.
Well,
this is a law that has no teeth because it would never come up.
No, it wouldn't, because Chevy Beck actually made a point. Bakeries and florists aren't religious organizations.
Right.
True. But a lot of this is targeted at, like, clergy and priests and churches and such that don't do it. And I have to actually counter you a bit on this, Andy, because I've known some people who, they had sincere belief. They loved the particular church they were in. They wanted to get married, but of course the pastor was going, no, you're gay, we're not marrying you. But they still love the church and the organization. Call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
But...
Okay, but then there was a bigot there that wasn't going to help them. Are they going to want that person to marry them?
They were, because that was their main preacher.
Well, I would say then that, hey, your preacher doesn't support you as a human being.
Oh no, I can agree with you. I'm just saying the circumstances I've actually seen. It boggles my mind.
Yeah, but were they so adamant about it happening that they would force that man's hand to marry them, to sue him to marry them?
Most times, no.
Have you ever seen that case come up?
Never.
Where somebody is like, no, I won't do it, and then someone sues them because they won't.
Yeah, I've never seen that come up.
I mean, you see the discrimination.
This is a Christian fabrication in my mind. This is a mock scenario that doesn't happen in the real world.
Oh yeah, no, it's totally a boogeyman thing. They're afraid the big bad government is going to force them to marry some gays. And it's like,
said, so replace same-sex with mixed race, and we've just gone back in time. Yes.
Yes, this is literally true because this was a thing like 50 years ago. But yeah, I mean, it's still just. I mean, you're right. It's not. It's probably never going to actually mean anything because the circumstances are never going to come up. It's just scummy.
Oh,
is all it is.
Oh, it's crappy.
There is the potential for this to come up because I will counter what Sheffy Buck said about bakeries and florists not being religious organizations. Mm-hmm. The fourth article. That the state shall not impose a penalty on an individual who declines either to be a participant in a marriage or wedding ceremony or to provide goods or services of expressional or artistic creation for such a marriage or ceremony or an ensuing celebration thereof because of a sincere religious belief concerning marriage between two persons of the same sex.
Hidden on page 4.
I'm a bigot. You can't make me.
Yep.
What you do in the bedroom is icky. I don't want to work with you.
You're yucky. I'm 5 years old.
It would protect those people. So yes, while two people of the same sex who want to be married are not going to seek out bigoted individuals to be a part of their wedding,
we would hope.
You may, yes,
we would hope.
You may not fall into the trap of finding those people accidentally.
They're everywhere.
And then there's nothing you can do when they discriminate against you.
It's true.
For that section alone, this needs to be burnt and never have existed in the first place. The rest of it that's made up, Christian privilege, they must want us to do something.
Okay, so let's run another thought experiment where this really does cause a problem. Again, with section 4 there. So the happy couple is going through. They've tasted all the different cakes that this particular group can produce for them. They've selected everything, and it's time to go pick up. And they're stiffed and told that we will not help you on your day. On the day that they're supposed to pick it up.
Was money changed? Was money changed in hand?
Well, they
could under this bill it doesn't matter. You could pay them and then they could decline service.
Yeah.
And there's no penalty.
Well,
and they go down what penalty means. I mean,
there could be a penalty, because I would recommend that anybody that is doing business with a group like this, if you happen to be of a same-sex attraction and you're in that relationship, always use a credit card. Always use the credit card, because then you can say to the credit card company that so-and-so vendor just stiffed me on whatever, and they'll give you the money back. So you can get buyer protection through things like that to combat bigotry.
Yeah.
Just a little pro tip. And American Express, they will always fight for you. Of course
they will.
They're not accepted everywhere, but they will always fight for you.
Okay, so Shefferbuck calls me out. Something like this would equally empower you to refuse services as an atheist minister to couples of a different religious persuasion. That is true. That is true, because I would be clergy and I could say no.
Well, this would also allow.
You're not atheist enough.
But
no.
I could.
You would have to know, because of the wording of this, you would have to know their feeling on marriages regarding same-sex individuals, because that tie-in takes it like you would be able to be punished because you're just discriminating against their religious belief.
Yeah, but you can just ask them that in casual conversation, and it fucking counts.
Yeah,
right. I'm saying you just have to make sure you qualified it, but like, hey, they weren't atheist enough for me. Oh, and they hate gays. Like,
as being a proper reverend, I always take into counsel the people that I work with and figure out what they're all about.
Haven't you done a religious ceremony? Like a relatively religious ceremony?
Yeah.
As
I have.
Atheist minister?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
I have too.
I don't remember if there was any mention of God in ours, but you presided over mine, and I'm religious as hell.
Yeah. Well, no, I kept it secular, but it worked out for you. No, in an alternate universe, I'm actually an archbishop. And just an absurd fundamentalist. in an alternate universe. Oh, okay. You aren't straight enough.
And you aren't
And
gay
you aren't
enough.
gay enough.
And you aren't tolerant enough.
You're not tolerant enough, therefore I'm going to... Oh, man.
I don't like you.
Wow.
You're gross.
Oh. Yeah, you know that whole sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me? It's wrong. Words hurt.
Words hurt worse.
Words
Sticks,
hurt
actually.
way
Yeah.
worse. Yeah.
Sticks and stones will break bones. Words have caused world wars.
Bones heal.
Factual statements.
Emotional wounds, not so much as quickly.
Yeah. Factual statements.
Wait. Sticks and stones may break my bones. Words have killed millions. There we go.
Yes.
True.
It's so true. So true. Okay, so so that happened. As Senator Bob Onder,
Yep.
O-N-D-E-R.
Write this down.
Onder, yeah. He's on the naughty list this year.
Aren't all the Republicans?
You know, I should make a naughty list.
No,
And
some of them are actually decent, but they fortunately get shouted down.
I should make a naughty list, put it on Google Drive, and then let any fan of the show add to the naughty list.
It's what we can do for the Christmas show.
Yeah.
Christmas episode.
Do it for the Christmas episode. That'd be great.
Who is a terrible human being this year?
Yes. Oh, and we can give an award.
Yes.
That'll be a
Ooh.
long episode.
Welcome to show 100, people, where we figure out what we're doing for the next 100 shows.
That's right. That's important. That's very important because I don't know. I'm playing this by ear.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, but so far this interface is working pretty well. Just to pat the technology on the back, it's a good. You know, we haven't had any audio issues. Everybody can hear. You know, oh my gosh.
Don't
Knock on wood. Knock on wood. There you go. You know, it's funny that Sticks and Stones phrase. I hear bigots use that all the time when progressives get upset about word use, but then as soon as they and then it went away.
Sheffy Beck also states that tongue is the strongest muscle in the
Absolutely.
body. Very.
Then as soon as you call them on it, they get all butthurt.
It's true. That happens with my uncle all the time. He gets all mad whenever because I'm no longer a conservative dickbag like the rest of the family. So he gets all mad when I call him out on his bigotry. And he'll get upset about people harping on word use and racial slurs and all that, and he'll say it's just a word. You shouldn't get all bothered by it. But then as soon as I say a word about him he doesn't like, he gets all butthurt. I'm just like,
double standard.
Really, guy?
Do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly.
Every time. Let's see. So the worsties. Statue is a rotting piece of sausage. Ooh.
We can get somebody to draw that.
Yeah. What? You know, I can. I know people with laser cutters, and I have a 3D printer. I can make a board. I can make something real nice.
Wow.
We'll have our artists.
Or we can always just call up that company that sends the bags of dicks. We can do that.
Yep.
Or there's the one that does the glitter bomb.
The glitter bomb.
Thing ever.
Whoever tops
The glitter bomb is the best.
Nothing worse than exploded craft herpes all over your room.
I've got glitter on me from 10 years ago.
It's like, oh, geez, where'd that come from?
It's even worse when you have girls.
Yeah.
Well, you know who I'm married to, so come on.
That's
Yeah,
very
you're
true.
in the same boat as we are.
Yeah. Oh, so that was fun.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Putting the pot in dysfunctional. Absolutely. No, it's all good. It's all good. So we're basically here at the end of the show. I don't have. Actually, I probably do have a lot of picks. I did go with Google Fi, so I've got a Nexus 6P, and it's a big phone, and it's super sweet, and I loves it, and I will caress it. No, it's so far.
Squeeze it and call it George.
Yeah, so far it's been fantastic. I apparently just needed a phone with more than 2 gig of RAM.
Okay.
That would help.
That's really what it came down to. I needed more RAM, and 3 gig was the most I could get in a Nexus. And your phone, the LG V10,
Yes.
has 4 gig.
4 gig.
I'm jealous.
I'm never going to use that. So I mean, if I could just transfer a gig to you, like
No.
I don't need 4.
That'd be lovely and all, but no, that's not something that's going to happen anytime soon. And I also recently acquired for the show purposes and other things that I'm going to do, because I'm working on a secondary blog show thing, and I'm pretty certain I'm going to call it Independent Study, and it's going to basically be all the little side projects that I do. I'm going to, yeah. So I'm going to document them as best I can and talk about them, and basically any of the research and things like that I do, you can follow along and enjoy the cavalcade of chaos that is my life. And in that vein, I got a little sub-$100 camcorder that does have HDMI out and dual SIM card, not SIM cards, transflash memory cards, and also it even has infrared output here so that it can see in dark vision.
So you can record those extra special porn scenes.
Well, I can make it look like a Blair Witch Project or something real good.
Or
yeah, I can do all that.
Or when you're changing out the hot water heater in a dark space.
That's right. Or if I'm working in an attic or anything like that, running cables or any of the weird stuff, yeah, I'll be able to do things like that. So yeah, it's I think it'll be just enough for what I want to do. That, and the price point was good.
You'll have
Cheap.
to hide it from the kids.
Hide it? No, because I know that they're going to be involved in probably several of these projects, especially as they get older. So that'll be fun. So just a little highlight reel of things that are coming, and that should be easy enough because I do have I've got a video capture device now for everything here, and the show is growing and getting more media intensive, as well. You can probably tell. If you're watching. And of course, yes, the show will continue to be uploaded to YouTube and try to cross post everything as much as possible, and I have no idea how much video editing I'm going to end up doing, so a lot of it may just be raw as hell. So, yay! And let's see. Let's go down through the entertainment reviews and nitpicks. Steven, you got one. What is this?
This is a guy that Pope Deadpool actually introduced me to when he and JP got married. We had some wonderful clothing we put on, which included ascots, and I will say on the coat I had, I looked amazing in an ascot. But we had no freaking clue how to tie one. So he found this guy on YouTube.
Okay.
His name is Patrick Novotny, which is Patrick, last name Novotny. This guy has a show where he has over 100 plus ways to tie a necktie and other random ties, bow ties, ascots, everything. Some of them are the standard ones you dealt with, Windsor, half Windsor. Some of them are these incredibly elaborate knots. I can say, thankfully, I actually now know how to tie a frickin' tie because of this guy, because he walks step by step through the process and makes it very easy. If you've ever want to know how to tie a tie, or know how to tie one, but want to see some of these really neat ones he does, go there, learn it. It will make things amazing for you.
All right. Well, I've got. I know how to do the half Windsor.
That is my favorite. It's because it's so easy.
Yeah, that's.
Isn't that the basic?
It's super basic.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah, I can do that in a noose.
Always a good skill to have.
Yeah.
Good to know that I know someone who can tie a noose.
I learned that in junior high, for no particular reason.
Wow.
All right then.
It was also the same time I was building a guillotine in shop class. Okay, so moving on.
Good to know.
I would like to start my pick by saying that I do not advocate this item. If
okay,
it's really cool, but if you take it and use it, the consequences are all on you. What I found is called the Skywall 100.
What the hell?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw this.
I will read right from the website. What if you want... But what if you want to steal those annoying drones and sell them for profit because you're such a criminal mastermind? The Skywall 100 offers a solution. Developed by British outfit OpenWorks, it's a shoulder-mounted weapon that looks like a grenade launcher of some sorts, except instead of shooting RPGs, it fires a projectile with a net attached to it that captures the drones, renders them immobile, and sends them falling to the ground.
Sky fishing!
It is laser-guided
There it
to
is.
lock onto the target. It weighs about 22 pounds, and you can capture drones out of the air and steal them for your own use or benefit or just to be a jerk. That is why I don't advocate it, but this thing looks cool as hell.
I see this and I go, this is what the Secret Service around the White House freaking need.
Okay, there's a trailer.
Oh, God.
This must be seen. And there we go. Low volume. Super low volume. Whatever.
You get nothing.
I apparently do get nothing. Obviously, I had to have some technical difficulties, otherwise this wouldn't be the right show. There we go.
Oh, of course it's British.
Yeah, it's British. It's British tech company here.
It always is!
You get the ad link in the middle. There you go.
Oh, it's got a little parachute. Okay.
Aww.
Oh, that's a DJI Phantom. That's an expensive drone that they just caught too.
Easy-to-fly drones has triggered a rise in the number of incidents where the safety and security of individuals and facilities has been compromised.
You're basically advocating
infiltrated the
stealing
security
someone
of
else's
heads of
property.
state,
No,
delivered
I'm
contraband
not.
into prisons,
No. I'm
photographed
saying
private
this
film
company,
sets
whoever's
and the
making this
property of
product.
celebrities.
No, they just want to take them down.
Protect using conventional weapons
Taking
and
someone
failed.
else's property.
It will be someone else's property when I start
100
targeting
has
Amazon
the ability
drones.
to quickly and easily neutralize a drone threat by physically capturing a drone in a net and controlling its descent to the ground.
That's a big shoulder-mounted
It
thing.
combines a compressed gas
Launcher.
with an intelligent projectile. This portable system provides a highly mobile and cost-effective method of dealing with drone threats.
Dealing with.
The launcher is equipped with a smart scope to assist in precise targeting. The operator acquires a target while receiving constant feedback from the smart scope.
This is insane.
The onboard
What
computer
in the
tracks
hell?
the target's flight path and calculates the required projectile trajectory to intercept a hovering
This isn't a
or moving
joke.
drone.
No, this is for real.
Oh my
The smart
god.
scope
I
responds,
want this to be
forcing
satire.
the
Yeah, this
so
really
badly.
ought
adjust their
Wow.
aim. Vertical adjustments account for range, while lateral adjustments allow the operator to accurately lead a moving target.
That thing
When the smart scope
looks like
target
a prop
indicates
from a B sci-fi movie.
Yes, it does. And the whole clip here looks like something that would be put together on SNL.
Like I'm pretty like I feel like I've seen that thing in the Starship Troopers movie. Not the first one that was relatively good. I'm talking about the really crappy sequels.
Which is amazing because that's where I was going to go when you said a prop from a B movie. I'm like, that's a Starship Troopers gun.
Absolutely. That's what it feels like to me.
Huh.
Skywall projectiles can carry a range of countermeasures. The SP-40 includes a parachute which controls the descent of a captured drone. This minimizes the risk of any collateral damage and keeps the drone intact, allowing for forensic investigation and identification of the perpetrator.
Bum bum bum.
If the
Still it,
operator
sell it
misses,
for parts.
the parachute will still deploy and safely return the tethered components for reuse.
That drone.
Steal it.
Other
Sell it for
features can
parts.
also be included, such as audible and visual alarms
Yeah.
and tamper-proof marking systems. The system is de-energized when not in use, so it is safe to handle and
Oh, there's a new version.
Skywall captures drones. assets.
I'm curious.
The most insane
Um,
thing ever.
Okay, it's seemingly the exact same video. Okay.
The prosperity
Okay.
of heads of state delivered.
Okay,
confidence
same.
project
Yeah, it's the same
Same.
video.
Same. Well, they said it was a new version.
Investigation.
They may not have made a
That's
new video
exactly
for
the
it.
same thing.
Well, yeah, I understand why this thing's designed. I'll see why it's made. I understand. I just hope the right people are using it.
That's funny.
The right people, eh?
Well, again,
that's
I
not
can see it
how
being used
weaponry
around-
works, dude.
Well, again,
That's not how technology works.
this thing built as an automated system around airports and government buildings, I'd be all for.
Yeah, but there are cheaper ways to do that.
I don't know if there's that many more effective ways, other than what I think it's Japan or some group is doing, or Russia, where they're training Falcons to take them down.
Exactly, cheaper.
But of course, that risks damaging the Falcon. It could get its legs chopped off by the blades.
No, but the way those blades are built is if they touch anything that's even remotely sturdy, they break.
Not all of them.
Not
I've
all
watched some
of them.
slice pretty good stuff.
The ones that are carbon fiber, they will slice through some stuff.
Well, yeah, but the other thing you got to remember is these birds of prey are at least the ones they're training also hunt other birds of prey, so they know how to attack something that's not where the sharp bits are.
Yeah, but
they know that.
Different places.
Yeah, a drone is not exactly a natural enemy.
But you can teach them. It's not hard.
But this is
but today.
This is so much easier than that. It's just, as I would say, a simple point and click interface.
Let's
You
stay
don't have
away.
to train a
Let's
Falcon.
stay away from automated because I think I just found my new career path. I just want to walk around airports and
Be a drone hunter.
Yeah.
Just have a golf cart you drive around with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could use it for like catch and release duck hunting. Bring a duck down. Go. Just in my spare time when I'm not taking drones out of the sky.
You gotta keep those skills sharp, man.
Ninja ducks.
Mr. Sims, you fired 23 rounds today. What do you have to show for it? What was the impetus of that strike?
Amazing YouTube videos.
Please take a look at my Instagram. I call this one Bob and this one Mallard. And then...
You should check out this Vine.
You know how some children run away from their parents? Not anymore.
Not
Children
anymore.
on leashes.
Who needs
Use
a
the
leash?
Skywall 100.
Skywall.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's fun.
Forget the full name. When the child's running away and it hears a lock-on signal from the shoulder-mounted weapon,
It does tell you that it gives you a beep when it's locked on.
that's when the child knows it may have gone a little too far this time.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
No word on pricing, but it is slated to come out before the end of the year.
Yay.
As a follow-up, I'll find out what they actually charge people for this thing.
That's not going to be cheap.
I need to know this.
And they say it's a cost-effective solution.
I want to know what cost-effective is.
Yeah. What? Also, they describe it as portable when the thing is the size of a grown man.
Yeah.
It's 22 pounds. I mean, it's got a little weight to it.
No. You're
Yeah.
just holding a small cannon on your shoulder. It's fine.
I mean, I'm not opposed to having a shoulder-mounted cannon, but
It's absolutely perfect for those that have been castrated.
Remember, Remember, America.
America, yeah.
Oh God, this country.
Oh my gosh.
I'm all for open carry, shoulder-launched weapons.
Nice.
Wow.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I know you say, oh, this country. This is Britain.
Mhm.
I'm just going to be able
It's
to
true.
buy it in America.
Yeah.
I have no words.
Well, I have shown the rubber band machine gun, right?
Yeah, you own that. It's right above your desk.
I have shown that,
Oh
right?
God, here he comes. This is the thing. He's never used it,
This
by
is
the
Vera.
way.
Not Vera.
The Gatling gun, essentially.
it's a rubber band machine gun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's made in the Ukraine.
Yeah, mind you, he has not shown that to the two girls because they would go ape shit with that.
Well, I've shown it to them. I've just never.
You've
loaded
never
it.
hit the trigger.
I've never loaded it for them.
So that's why the Ukrainian army couldn't handle the Russians.
It was rubber bands the whole way. No, actually, an interesting story. The manufacturers, it was a Kickstarter thing, and the manufacturers had to flee the country because their town was overrun by rebels, and the guy even lost his sister in it too.
Oh.
So yeah, there were bullets flying, and they were still shipping. So, yay, Ukraine! You
No,
know,
that's notice to every other Kickstarter out there. You haven't gotten me my stuff. This guy got this through. Come on, people.
yeah,
Up your
come on.
game.
Get your crap together.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, he was under fire. Okay.
And by God, he was going to make sure you got what you paid for.
That's right.
Or perhaps he should be designing something other than rubber band guns.
He made
No.
money. Yeah,
Rubber band machine gun is one of the greatest inventions of modern times. Okay?
Yeah, but it doesn't really work in a gunfight.
it works in a rubber
It
band.
is a rubber band machine gun. It is magnificent all on its own.
First, you Skywall 100 their gun hand. Then you rubber band machine gun them to the face. Gunfight over.
Okay, that thing will shoot 600 rubber bands in a minute.
We need to YouTube this.
Well, now I've got the camera for
This
it.
video needs to happen.
I want to slice
Quoting
water.
Starship Troopers. They cannot press the button if you disable their hand.
Is that Team Fortress?
No,
No,
that's
from the
Starship
Starship Troopers
Troopers.
movie.
Oh, okay.
Why we learn to throw knives when in the nuke fight, and the guy throws the knife and pins his pan to the wall.
I haven't watched that movie. So.
Like the guy cannot press the button if you disable his hand. Medic.
Okay.
Yep.
Right then. Mike, you've got a pick.
I do. I have two, in fact. My first pick, I've plugged them before, but I'm going to plug them again because there was an eclipse recently, and they of course covered it, and it looked beautiful, and it was cool, and it was so cool to watch. SLU at live.slu.com. They cover all sorts of celestial events around the globe, eclipses, meteor showers, just all sorts of stuff. If you can't see it from where you are on the planet, they've got eyes on it, so you can watch it live with them, and they get astronomers on to talk about what's going on in the events and just all sorts of cool information you can get out of it, and you get to see pretty celestial events. So why wouldn't you? So I'm plugging them again because they deserve all the recognition they can get. And my second plug is Henry's Hard Soda from the Blitz Weinhard Brewing Company. Comes in a bottle like this.
Best thing ever!
They are delicious. I've got the orange one right here. There's also a ginger ale one that I know is out there. And it's it's not particularly strong. It's 4%. It's got a little bit of a buzz, but they're delicious and alcoholic, and what's not to like? So those are my picks.
I don't know, Mike. You came across a little bit like a heroin addict looking for his next hit movie. It's delicious.
Oh, they're really
I
good.
love orange soda with
they
the
just like
incandescent fury of 1,000 suns.
Do you
I love orange soda.
Do you like the Terry's chocolate orange?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been just kind of tampering with things, and one of the things I did was I grabbed some just a can of like Crush, or was it Crush?
Sunkist.
Sunkist. Just because that's what was available, and put that over ice, and then I added a standard shot of creme de cacao, and I had a chocolate orange, and it was so good.
Yeah, mix that with that orange soda. We're in it to win it.
Yeah. So yeah, chocolate orange soda. Oh yeah.
Mike, stop trying to crawl through the screen.
He's gonna get closer and closer to it.
Next time I come over, Andy, we're doing this.
Next time.
Next time.
Yes. Okay. And Chefy Buck in the chat room says, props to Alaska Airlines for rescheduling by 25-minute flight to accommodate an astronomer to get a view of the eclipse. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Major props to that.
Yeah.
Let's see, things that are coming up. Celebrating the spring equinox.
Yay.
On March 20th, celebrating the arrival of spring here in the Northern Hemisphere. Full worm moon on Tuesday, March 22nd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's an interesting thing. Commentary on the moon itself, and a particular moon's unique name. And transit of Mercury on May 9th, coming up in a rare event which only occurs a few times a century. The innermost planet of the solar system will soon find its orbit crossing directly between the Earth and the Sun as Mercury transits our home star. Cool. That one is going to be fun to look at. So, and that's SLOOH, SLOOH.com.
Yes.
Live.SLOOH.com. And, I think that about does it for the regular show here. So, this was show 100.
Yay!
Hey.
Jinkies, we made it!
Confetti!
Holy crap.
Maybe we could, get one of those shoulder-mounted confetti cannons or something.
Time change this weekend.
Yeah, time change this weekend. We mentioned it. Yeah, so, yeah.
Forward.
Yeah, we all listen. Grumble.
Isn't it like 2 o'clock tomorrow morning?
2 a.m. tomorrow morning? Yeah. They used to do it at midnight, but then they realized there was a problem with the automatic clocks that would then change it at midnight again, and again. Yeah, so they moved it to 2. So little things like that. Let's see. So next week is show 101. And what would show 101 be without some education? So you've been doing some research.
Well, we've also had some, thanks to Fred, some requests actually to do some more educational aspects of things, such as the Trans-Pacific Partnership, also known as the TPP. That's one thing we're going to hit on. We're probably going to go also more into what's going on with the election, how government works, standard stuff.
Yeah, the little things that we've been covering all year. Little things like that. There's been several debates which we have avoided covering because they're insane. The most recent Democrat debate was on Univision down in Miami, and it was interesting. I think that there were some metrics that came out of that that we'll talk about next time. Maybe we'll go over how some of those debates went, because there was also the GOP debate, and apparently I'm hearing rumors that Marco Rubio is going to drop out.
Which would would make sense, but be sad because he's got the most actual support in the Senate. Yet, because in their little words,
Trump, yeah.
In little words, the actual GOP can't stand Cruz. Yeah. I believe it was Mitch McConnell, tell a joke. It was a couple of years ago that if another senator killed Ted Cruz on the floor of the Senate, and the trial was held in the Senate, there would be no conviction. And yet they're now having to go, we don't want Trump to win, and Rubio is so far behind, we might have to back Cruz.
Oh, that's right, Kasich's still in it. That's right, Kasich's still in it. Thank you, Pope Deadpool. Yeah. And he was saying it wasn't a debate, it was a one-sided fight. So, yeah.
Like the GOP does.
That's like you do. Now, the one-sided fight, was that, which one was that? Was that the Democrat or the GOP debate? Of course, we'll find out in 20 seconds. Because that's the delay that... It's like we're having to talk to people that are in the asteroid belt.
Oh, and quick fun news, though.
Democrat debate, okay, yeah.
The reason I am not on video frame in here is because I am suffering rather bad sunburn because I forgot that I live in Florida.
Good job.
Florida.
And I actually went to... Bernie Sanders was doing a tour of the state. He went from Gainesville down to Kissimmee, of all places, then over to Tampa. I was able to catch him in Kissimmee and listen to his speech there, and also got to have a brief conversation with Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. I unfortunately refer to her as Senator. If you were ever listening to this, Miss Gabbard, I do apologize. Yes, I now know you are Congresswoman.
She didn't correct you, though, did she?
No, she didn't. But I could kind of see it in her eyes. Sorry. At that point, I had to say I was suffering from heat stroke.
Hulk in Florida.
She was probably trying to get you some water.
Well, no, here's the thing. I got there at 10. Gates opened at noon. He didn't arrive till 3:30, and this was out in the middle of a completely open field with no shade.
Oh, you should have brought sunscreen.
I should have at least brought a hat. Yeah, that didn't happen. I was a fool. I'll never forget that. But I did actually manage to ask her a question about whether or not she would consider being VP. She gave me a very political answer, the fact that we've got to get him elected first, but I could see a twinkle in her eye, so I think she might have come up at least on the long list, if not the short list.
She's entertaining the concept.
Cool.
It would be a dream ticket, in my opinion, to have her and Sanders just because of what she would bring being a veteran.
I don't really care who runs with Sanders as long as he wins the nomination.
Yeah, well, that's a big camp. That's a big camp.
Yeah.
He's still doing really well. I mean, the big upset with Michigan.
That was amazing.
That was glorious.
17 points in Hillary's favor, and then he wins. Yeah.
By, like, what was it, 22?
No, last I checked, he won by less than the percent.
Yeah, it was 49-48.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it was tight. I thought it was much higher than that. Okay. Wow. I'm telling you, it's a horse race right to the end. Right to the end. And then it's going to be
49.8 him, 48.3 her.
Well, we've got a big one here coming up Tuesday, isn't it?
The 50th, primary slot for the Democrats. And
that's Florida's
the lowest
election.
amount of delegates up for grabs is 75. So that's the lowest.
So if he handles it good enough, he will act in the state and gets a good enough percentage. He will blow away. He will catch up, if not blow away, Hillary's lead.
To paraphrase The West Wing, he could die.
Well, I should care about the VP.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, we should care.
I would definitely research that a lot more.
Well, we do.
Once he's nominated, I think I'll put more effort into it.
To be honest, I didn't have a whole lot of faith in Joe Biden, initially either. So
Crazy Uncle Joe turned out all right.
Yeah, it turned out fine. And of course, he also Obama hasn't died. So
Congresswoman Gafford, I've got no problem.
Sanders.
Yeah. But Sanders is only slightly older than Hillary.
Slightly, but nobody knows that but us.
I know. Well, I've said it there.
Also, remember, he's actually, I think, 3 years younger than Mandela.
Well, yeah, he's not. He's definitely not the oldest, presidential candidate that we've had.
No,
he didn't spend years locked in a prison getting beaten. So I mean, he's got that for him.
There is that. Yeah. Well, he's also quite spry. I mean, with all that he's done, it's amazing. So, let's see. So, yeah. So we've got that coming, and if you want us to address certain topics or anything like that, get those emails over to us. And that's orlyradiopodcast @gmail.com. And let's see. I think that's it. Yeah. I think that's it. So that's it for tonight. We'll be back next Friday at about 9:30 Eastern. We'll of course have the live stream open at about 8:30 or so to work out any kinks and make sure everything's working. And in the meantime, the conversations should continue on the web. Head over to orlyradio.com. That's ORLY radio.com for all the links right at the top of the page. And do watch us live and chat in the IRC like has been done tonight to great effect. If you've liked what we've done here, you can help keep the lights on. You can follow the Patreon link over to on our webpage over to patreon.com/Cowen, COWEN. That would be me. Or donate directly via the cleverly named donate button. If that's too rich for you, contribute to the show with other ideas. Topics, corrections, advertising offers, unclaimed lottery tickets, hate mail, and unsolicited advice by emailing them to us at orlyradiopodcast@gmail.com. Leave a voicemail at 470-222-6759. Vote on stories on the subreddit, which I have not yet deleted, but it's still out there. And leave us a glowing review on whatever platform you found us on. And, of course, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. But really, the biggest thing, which I need to add probably to this closing here, the biggest thing that I need you to do is share the show. Just, grab somebody's phone and just go ahead and download it. It'll be fine. Leave it there with the show notes there so that people can, look and see what's going on. Just little subvertive actions. That'd be fine. That'd be fine. That way, that'll get us to show 200. Just, contribute in that way. Spread the word. Get us out there. Why not? So, we can't thank you enough for spending some time with us tonight. Until next time, this has been ORly Radio, part of the Cowen Services Network. Music for the show is created by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. And that's it. So, and almost, no. Where is it? There it is. And stop.